What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to another edition of King's Court, brought to you by www.sports-kings.com. The logo's right over here. Why don't you check us out? I'd like to speak a little bit about the channel before we jump right into this week's edition of playoff basketball here, and just tell you guys to interact with us. Leave us some comments, subscribe, tell your friends about the page if you enjoy the videos we're making, and give us props. I have with me tonight Michael, who's apparently not introducing himself. So
no, there's no introduction needed, man. I mean, I'm here every week. It's just, I think people are tired of hearing, my story. So I'm just going to be like, what's up, America? That's about it.
I think he was mad you didn't call him the court jester.
That's probably true.
I was refusing.
It's the King's Court. I say funny stuff. You might as well.
But notice that he used more time for his introduction this week when he wasn't going to have an introduction than he normally would have.
Yes.
Next, and he's already spoken, is Frank. Frank's back for another week.
I just want to say hello to all the beautiful ladies out there. You might think it's coincidence you're tuning into the show and I happen to have my Twitter handle at the bottom, but that's just fate.
That was the worst pickup line ever.
You guys were going at it last week, too. It's fitting that we keep it going. Last but not least on the panel, we have Brandon, who's rocking a Hawks jersey this week.
Yes, rocking a Hawks jersey. Congratulations to Goran Dragic, who is the NBA's most improved player. And just like Andy said, check out our channel. A bunch of good sports videos, and they're actually rather entertaining to watch, especially when Frank comes on and we start rattling the cage.
Absolutely. You notice how Brandon only started wearing the Atlanta Hawks jersey now? They went up 2-1. I think he had like an Indiana jersey on, but then he just reversed that.
So, is there a Roy Hibbert jersey under there, Brandon? I think there is.
No, that's in the trash. That's burning on the fire.
Oh, it's a Lance Stevenson jersey. Oh.
That got the LeBron Cleveland Cavaliers jersey treatment. But so let's jump right into this. And this week we're going to talk first and foremost about a couple of players that are participating in the playoffs right now, actually in the same series. That's the Houston Rockets and the Portland Trailblazers series. A series that's actually kind of been surprising enough in its own. We wanted to talk about I won't say emergence, but I'll say the big boy, big time playoff play of LaMarcus Aldridge, LMA, my boy. Salute you. And let's just talk about the great things he's done. I mean, he's had 2 40-point games. Granted, one was overtime and he was fouled out anyways, but 2 40-point games in the playoffs, and, people were kind of starting to forget about LaMarcus Aldridge as far as power forward play goes. Let's go to you first, Brandon. And what do you take from LaMarcus Aldridge's 2 games against the Houston Rockets so far?
Well, Andy, you just said it. They forgot that LaMarcus Aldridge was a power forward and that he's really good. I'm glad that things are clicking. I actually got to watch Game 1, and he was awesome in that. And it's just really good to see him come out of his shell. This is the time to do it. This is the time to get noticed. This is the time to get past the first round and shut up all these so-called critics.
Absolutely. And we're going to go to Frank next, but before we do, I'd like to say that Frank and I did a power forward draft where we kind of bounced back and forth making picks. We did it for all the positions, but in regard to the power forward one, I think that one for the both of us was kind of cluttered up towards the top the most. Frank went with Kevin Love, then I followed with LaMarcus Aldridge. Blake Griffin was third. Answer the question as Brandon did, I guess, Frank, but would you change that at all right now, do you think, if you had to take it back?
I don't know. It's really tough to say in the playoffs, because I feel like if Kevin Love was in the playoffs, he'd probably be dropping 42. But then, you could always say, why isn't Kevin Love in the playoffs then? It's kind of his own fault. But I feel like I would, but I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment and be like, LaMarcus Aldridge dropped 42 days in a row, so now he's my favorite power forward in the league. But I feel like I would, just because as I've been watching more of Kevin Love since we've done that draft, and we've talked about this before, it kind of bothers me a little bit that Kevin Love's game isn't really a traditional power forward skill set. Like, he's out of the 3-point line. He's not an elite defender. Some of the things about his game just really bother me in comparison to, especially when you're comparing him to guys like LaMarcus Aldridge, and the big one is Anthony Davis that we compare him to, because Anthony Davis does have that defensive game, and he can make a difference defensively where Kevin Love can't. But yeah, I do feel like I would change it right now. As far as LaMarcus Aldridge's performance, I live tweeted the game. You should follow me right now at SK Lord Santos. But I was live tweeting the game, and at one point I ran out of things to say about LaMarcus Aldridge. Like, he was just abusing the Rockets front line. And even though Omer Rashid did a better job and kind of made his life a little harder, it still didn't matter. That mid-range game is so deadly. The only thing that scares me a little bit is, as the playoffs go on, you get more tired. The mid-range game is the first thing that goes. I mean, you get tired, your legs get tired. So I hope that doesn't happen to him, but he's been absolutely amazing, no doubt about it.
And yeah, let's get your take on this, Michael, because I know you're dying. You don't like going last.
No, you got to save the best for last. I know how it is. You guys remember back?
Well, that's a good thing I save myself every time.
There you go. See, that was quick. That was good. But you guys remember back, 96, 97, when this guy named Dr. Dre came out with the song called "Forgot About Dre," and this guy named Eminem came on and blew everybody away, and we're like, "Who's this white guy?"
Yo, that was not
97.
97,
That was
90. I don't know. I was.
You remember in 2002 when Dr. Dre came out with that song? Forgot About Dre.
I don't know, dude. I don't listen to hip hop. Sorry, not much. But all I know is it happened, and that's what's happening with LaMarcus Aldridge. This kid, he's here. He's arrived. We've waited long enough, and here it is. But I mean, let's kind of talk about the fact of how bad James Harden is playing. I mean, what's up with this guy? We expect.
Well, don't jump ahead. That's the second.
I don't care. I have jumped this gun. I have done leaps and bounds over this gun. This gun is gone. Boom, gone.
Why you keep talking about a gun for, Raymond Felton?
I don't know.
We already had that episode.
Get it right. We're going to get into Thug Fest 09 in a minute here. That's down the road. Anywho, if anybody should be excited, it should be the city of Portland. Because right now, the only professional sports team you have is the Portland Trailblazers, who haven't won their division since that league shortened season in 1999 with Arvydas Sabonis. Guys like, I think that was when Scottie Pippen was still playing in Portland. You haven't been to the Western. You haven't won the Western Conference since 1992 with Clyde the Glide, Terry Porter. Those guys. You haven't been excited about the Portland Trailblazers in a long time. You're starting to feel like the Toronto of the United States. It's time to stop feeling like Toronto, Portland. Stop leaning on the Portland Winterhawks of the Western Hockey League, who are just a junior team.
Why does Michael throw out sports that we don't know every show?
Yeah, what are the sports, the flying pigs, or whatever you just said about?
You're trying to get the Iron Pigs into this? Don't do that, man. You can't do that.
I don't know who that is. I am thoroughly confused right now. You're making Game of Thrones references. I don't know.
I don't even have HBO. I'm way behind on the game. The point is, good for you, city of Portland. If anybody should be happy, it's you guys.
Yep.
Absolutely agree. And I mean, I think, I said it kind of at the top of this question, the 40-point games back-to-back. Frank pointed out that he's doing it, against the front line, that if they should be excelling at anything, it's defense with Ashik and Howard. And I know LMA's a little bit of a tough matchup, though, because if you look at the two guys, or the three guys, we'll say three guys that could be guarding him. It's Howard, can't do it. LMA is too technically gifted for Dwight Howard. I think that he can be inside and out. Same thing for Omar Ashik. I feel like when they're down on the block, he's a little easier to guard for them. But then the other guy getting minutes is Terrence Jones, and why does he seem like he's 6'5"? I never realized.
Terrence Jones is barbecue chicken for LaMarcus Aldridge. Barbecue chicken.
I like the way he's played this year, but the one thing I really didn't notice all year was how small he was, and he is small. Like, LaMarcus Aldridge abuses him. And just real quick to hit on what Michael was saying, the album in question, Michael, was The Chronic 2001. So it was in 2001. The analogy he was making about LaMarcus Aldridge, I think, was that he's been in the lab with a pen and a pad trying to get this thing off. So I had to do that. I was saving that. I didn't want to forget. Let's jump into the second part of this question that Michael already tried to kind of blow up on us, and that was James Harden. This is kind of flipping the script, the other side of the coin. Why has James Harden been so bad? Why has James Harden been on-the-spot dice spin?
On-the-spot dice spin.
We'll go to you first, Michael, since you already kind of cracked the bag open on this one. You know what I wanted to say was I was watching something the other day. It was Impractical Jokers, and the guy kept referring to a part as cracking a rat. And I almost just said cracking a rat. But here you go, Michael. Let's nice. Dig on James Harden here. Cracking a rat.
I think James Harden is eventually going to have to sit down with a sports psychologist and wonder where his game went. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Is the pressure too great for you right now, James? I mean, you weren't anything. I mean, you were like amazing. You're a proven commodity in this league. You've been in this situation before with a Kevin Durant, with a Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City. Now you come to Houston. You've got Dwight Howard. You've got Jeremy Lin. I mean.
Who?
Granted, they're not Kevin Durant. Exactly. Granted, they're not Kevin Durant.
One of those names does not fit.
What's going on here, James? I mean, like, are you buckling under pressure? I mean, are you trying to pull a Kentucky Wildcats at the free throw line here? I mean, like, what? Uh-oh. Where is your game, man? It's gone. If you don't find it fast, you're going to be sitting at home watching LaMarcus Aldridge, dice up whoever he's going to, take on in the second round. Get your together, man. Step your game up, dude.
Step it up, James Harden. Let's go to you, Frank.
The thing is, Michael brought up a point. James Harden has been here before with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, and he didn't do too good then either in the finals. He kind of stunk it up in the finals. So, and to be honest, James Harden, the first two games, it kind of reminds me of the OKC Thunder, like how they play. I think like because James Harden came to Houston and was the superstar, I don't think anybody's really disciplined him or told him what he can't do. So, like, when you see OKC in late-game situations, it's usually, like, an ISO for Kevin Durant for 20 seconds. OKC shoots a lot of bad shots in the last minute. And I think that's what you're seeing from James Harden. I think he still has that OKC mentality from the way they used to play basketball late in games. And I think that's transitioning now to Houston because he was such a savior to the Rockets. I don't think anybody's ever, like, taken him aside and been like, yo, James, you can't do that. Like, you can't do these things. That's why I think that Kevin McHale needs to join the unemployment line, and you need to get a coach that will hold the players accountable because I feel like Kevin McHale yells a lot, but he's almost like that guy that yells so much that you don't even hear what he's saying anymore. Like, when your mom used to yell at you all the time, and then eventually you're just like, I don't know, mom's yelling. We did something wrong, but I don't know what it is. Let's just go outside and play. That's the Houston Rockets. They just want to go outside and play. They're going to shoot some threes. They don't even care what Kevin McHale's telling them about defense because that goes over their heads. Not that they give a crap about defense, clearly. But yeah, James Harden on the spot dice spin, 12 for 47. You're choking, homie.
Yo, and real quick, Frank, to bounce off of that, could it be that James Harden doesn't trust anybody else to take those shots? I mean, like,
James Harden only.
Could it feel like
that's a great point, Michael, because James Harden passes out of necessity. James Harden only passes when he tried to create his shot and he's double teamed and he doesn't know what else to do. So he's like, I guess I have to pass the ball.
That's the Kobe. That's the Kobe syndrome.
I was just about to say that. He's trying to get that Black Mamba mentality.
That's what Kobe does. And that's the thing too. People would always say like big, Kobe supporters, and I'm not like a Kobe hater, but Kobe supporters, if you try to say anything wrong about Kobe, you say, Kobe doesn't pass the ball. They'll be like, Kobe averages 5 assists or 6 assists, and you're like, that's out of exactly what Frank said, out of necessity. He's not passing because he wanted to pass you the ball. It's like me on 2K with my player. Yeah. I'm calling for the ball every play, jacking as many shots as I can because I'm getting 50. But let's before I give you my thoughts, because I thought Frank hit a couple of really good points. Let's go to Brandon, get his take, and then I'll wrap up with mine on this.
Well, real quick, there's really not much else to say. You guys all said it. This could be a personal issue with Kevin McHale and getting his butt out of there, getting somebody in there that will maybe give him the freedom to do what he wants. I don't know if that's the issue. I was looking at both stat lines. I have them up right now. James Harden played 44 minutes in Game 1, and he had 27, 6, and 5, but he shot 8 from 28. Then the next game wasn't as good. He had 18, and his shooting wasn't great. So, again, I totally agree with what Frank said. Maybe they need to get somebody in there that will discipline him. I don't know if discipline's the word.
Yo, he needs a spanking and to go in the corner like a little kid. Because I think Frank's right. Like when you're a star, like you live off of that. Coming out of high school into college, everybody loves you. Coming to the NBA, everybody loves you. You make an impact, everybody loves you. Now, where his situation kind of turned a little unique is he was kind of in a rough situation where he could be the star maybe, but he's in OKC with Durant Westbrook, so it's never going to work. And then he goes to Houston, and like Frank was saying, like they were so excited to get him that nobody wanted to, I mean, think of it like this. Think about you hound this chick for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to go on a date with you, and she finally comes on a date with you. But say you go to a nice restaurant and she wears some like half-ass stuff. You're not going to say a word.
Yeah, absolutely.
There. That's it. She's at the table. Still, a glass of wine is being poured, and she's going to order her meal, and you're not saying shit about her wearing flip-flops. So
that's a perfect analogy.
I think at the end of the day, Frank, you're right. As much as I don't want to admit it, I think Kevin McHale has, like, the ship has sailed on him. I don't know what it is. I did kind of like the guy, but you're right. Like, it almost is like he always has an upset look on his face, and he's always disciplining somebody, but it's almost like nobody cares. It's not transitioning over onto the court, and they're not playing any better. Get Howard's boy Stan Van Gundy in there.
I was just going to say, I think there's a Ron Jeremy stunt double looking for a job right now in the NBA.
And hey, I don't know if this matters, but like, Frank, he was so good during the regular season. What happened? I don't know if that like matters, but like, what happened?
He's not clutch.
Playoff basketball is different. You know what I mean? It's just it's a lot more intense, and I just think for one, the main point is I think he's forcing a lot of shit. You know how hard it is to take 28 shots in an NBA game, let alone an NBA playoff game?
Field goal.
28, just even to put up 28 shots. Like, you're forcing shots if you're putting up 28 shots. I'm sorry. There's no way you're not forcing at least.
Your arms are tired of
those shots. Yeah, at least 8 to 10 of those shots are completely forced. I mean, there's just no way around it. But I don't know.
Can't be that wide open.
Another thing that's concerning to me in regards to Kevin McHale, real quick before we bounce to the next subject, because I know this subject isn't Kevin McHale, firing range or whatever. But Kevin McHale, like, to me, it's not as bad as what happened in L.A., but he's almost, instead of L.A. misusing Dwight Howard, Kevin McHale's kind of misusing Dwight Howard and Omar Sheik, because those guys, while they've proven they can run on the break, that team should be so much better in the half-court defense. Like, and Chandler Parsons isn't a slouch either, and neither is my boy.
Patrick Peterson?
No. Patrick Beverly, yeah. They have, so at any given time, they might have 4 guys on the court who play good defense and one who puts his hands on his hips. So, I mean, they've got to be better.
Don't even get me started on James Harden.
No. I'm saying, I was telling Frank knows this because I was talking about it in Game 1. Wesley Matthews was posting him up, and he just did a routine kind of spin off the post like any player will do. And I looked, and Harden had his hands on his hips already. Like, as soon as Wesley Matthews was facing the basket, Harden was standing there, hands on his hips. Didn't even care. He was like,
unbelievable.
It was like Wesley Matthews had a weapon or something. But
you guys should go to Deadspin.com and look at the James Harden compilation video of defense. It's horrific.
You shouldn't do that if you like basketball because it's terrible. It's like a car crash. Let's go to this next one, and that's going to be what potential series do we see here right now out of the 8 games being played, or the 8 series being played? Which ones do we think have the potential to go 7 games? We'll start with you first, Frank, since this was your suggestion.
I think the one that definitely has the potential to go 7 games more than any other one is the Grizzlies and the Thunder. I think they're just 2 very competitive teams. I think they match up well against each other. I think there's going to be some games where the Grizzlies keep it in the 80s, and then other games where the Thunder kind of break out and put it in the hundreds. And I think combined, those 2 will even out, and we'll have a Game 7. The other one I thought potentially was Rockets-Blazers, but I don't think that anymore now that the Blazers took 2 on the road. I think the Blazers win that one pretty easily, at least in 6, if not 5. That was really it for me. I mean, I do, more so than anybody else, I give the Bulls still a chance to go and even it up in Washington. I mean, I just think their veteran leadership and Washington having that pressure of, oh my God, we're up 2-0 at home. I think they might blow Game 3, and then the pressure comes on Game 4 now that you've blown Game 3. I think that one is a sneaky potential of going 7.
Well, for the record, before we get to Brandon here, because he'll be next, the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to need a 29-point fourth quarter to crack that 100-point mark. So they've got their work cut out against Memphis. I mean, I don't see it happening. Brandon, what do you think?
My original pick, and I guess my pick really was OKC and Memphis. I totally agree because I got a chance to watch Memphis all 4 times this year against my Phoenix Suns. Make sure to drink because I talk about my Suns, and they're a really good team. And I said it last video. You know, they like to slow down the offense, and I think they're a pretty good defensive team. But I was looking again. Call me a little bit crazy, but I think maybe Toronto and Brooklyn could go 7 games because Toronto, you know, they're young. They're like the youth in this playoff matchup. When Brooklyn, you know, they have all those older guys and they've already been to the playoffs last year. I think it might kind of like counterbalance it out. I think that could be a 7-game series.
All right, Michael, who do you think could go 7?
Well, since everybody is jumping on this OKC Memphis bandwagon that Santos and I have kind of started,
Yeah, tell
I'm gonna jump off this one. I'm gonna be the rebel right now, just for this topic only. I'm saying
Hipster.
the Clippers.
Such an antagonist.
The Clippers and the Warriors is going 7 games, and I really hope so too, because the whole Klay Thompson, Blake Griffin showdown at the OK Corral is entertaining to me. I mean, you look at Game 1 when Thompson and the Splash Brothers, they all showed up and took care of business, and then in Game 2, the Clippers just come out and just immortally thrash. I mean, just pummeled. I mean, I could pull out a thesaurus right now and just list synonym after synonym for badly beaten.
We're going big.
It was awful. I mean, it was like just horrible. I wouldn't want to be anybody on that Golden State roster that game. But I mean, it's going to be a slugfest, and I got a feeling that these next 5 games are going to be just as good. I mean, it's going to be like 2. I don't want to say heavyweights because they're not really. We'll say 2 middleweights slugging it out. 7 rounds.
7. It would have to be 7 rounds. Before I go to mine, I wanted to say that the funniest thing about the playoffs so far is actually one of the greatest things is that parity kind of seems to be back. I know it's a little early still in the first round, but so much so that one of the more exciting series, and I'm sure you would all agree with me, on paper before this started was Golden State and the LA Clippers, and you almost don't hear a word about that series right now.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
We even talked about it last week.
Yeah, the other ones have been so much better. It seems like at this point, even though that series is has been good. We're so fixated on Portland and Indiana losing and stuff of that nature. Frank.
Real quick, to speak on your parity point real quick before you go, I mean, the only series that was 2-0 going into Game 3 was the Heat and the Bobcats. And even that's been a good – I've seen a lot of those games, and even that's been a good series. The Bobcats are young. They have no chance, but they've been making them good games. So, I mean, every series has been a watchable series. You're not you don't look at one of the games I can't watch this. This is just a beatdown. So every single series has been watchable.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, actually, before I forget here, my picks were going to be OKC and the Grizzlies. I initially thought 6 with that. Now I'm hoping for 7 because I'm still kind of holding some hope that Memphis is going to lose that series and OKC is going to come back punching. Although I did say before the show that for me, I like watching Memphis play basketball, so I don't mind seeing them advance. But just to not have Kevin Durant there after the first round, and even Russell Westbrook, that to me is kind of sad. But they can't all make it, I guess. Another one I had was I like the Brooklyn-Toronto one too. Brandon, you said that, I think. I think that one has the potential to go 7 games. And I also think, I don't know who said this one, I think it might have been Frank as well, is that Chicago and Washington series. Even though it looks like Washington has the upper hand right now, Washington does have the upper hand right now, I feel like Chicago's that team that could definitely, even in D.C., they can steal games. So I don't know. I haven't given up hope on that. I have a bet on that series. I wanted Washington, but I picked Chicago.
My reasoning for not picking Toronto and Brooklyn is just because my heart can't handle 7 games of that Toronto Brooklyn series as a Net fan. Literally, I won't be here next week if that happens.
It's like being a Syracuse basketball fan. Oh, you're that too, right? This year, they were killing people. I'm pretty sure they're responsible for at least 8 to 10 heart failure deaths. So let's jump into this next one. And I mean, we had to wait. We were saving it. We kind of altered the idea a little bit. But now that the Pacers have dropped back 2-1 at the hands of the Atlanta Hawks. Like, why? I had to stop. I had to have a pause there because it's the Atlanta Hawks.
You had to read it a few times to realize that it actually is the Atlanta Hawks.
I don't want to believe it still because I don't think, at least, here's my scoop real quick, and I guess I'll just go first this time. At least Atlanta, or at least the Pacers, have like players that you want to watch. Even if they, if they limp through this series and, they do manage to, let's say they beat the Hawks in 7 games. They limp through the series, they're beat up, and everybody's lost a lot of faith in them. We still would rather see them play than the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, I like Jeff Teague. I know Paul Millsap's a fairly popular player. Kyle Korver, I think some people like him because of his streak and stuff this year. He's kind of been a hot topic. But other than that, there's like nobody on that roster that people care about anymore. So for me, do I think the Pacers are in trouble? I absolutely do. I think at this point, like, it's going to sound like prisoner of the moment, but I think they're going to lose this series. And I don't even know if it's going to go 7 games. I feel like if it goes 7 games, the Pacers are going to win. So
right.
I feel like Atlanta can finish them off in 6. Let's go to you, Brandon. What do you think?
What happened?
You have to pick Atlanta, by the way, because you have the jersey.
Yeah. You can't do that.
Well, first off, it's interesting. I really like Jeff Teague, too. And, I mean, Paul Millsap's a former Utah Jazz player, and I was born and raised in Utah, just to get that out of the way.
You're going to be wearing a Jazz jersey next week.
Yeah. And
Pistol Pete to send you one. I'm sure he'll send you a Jazz jersey.
And I don't know, like, what's happening? Like, we are talking about the Atlanta Hawks upsetting the Indiana Pacers. What is happening? You want to know what is happening? Is the spirit of my Phoenix Suns has snuck up to the Atlanta Hawks, and they're starting to upset this team.
It's full circle back to the Suns.
We are, hey, take a drink. Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, it's good, though. I don't really like watching this series because, again, you mentioned it, Andy, there's nobody really on that team that's worth anything good besides Jeff Teague and Paul Millsap. But if that's working, then sure, I'll watch this series. Why not?
What we're seeing this series, I'm not even trying to be dramatic here, is we're watching the death of the Indiana Pacers as a basketball team because not only are they going to lose this series, when they lose, Frank Vogel fired, Lance Stevenson gone, George Hill is probably out the door. So, like, this young team that we thought, oh, wow, this team's going to challenge the Heat, and if the Heat stay together, it's going to be Heat Pacers for the next 6 years. It's over. Like, that's it. It's done.
Yep.
And it is, honestly, Brandon, I don't like watching this series either because even though I like to see, like, an upset, like, this is just really sad because, like, I was really amped up for the Pacers to be that team, to be the next up-and-coming team, and it's really not going to happen. It's over. And, I mean, another one, Roy Hibbert, like, who knows what the hell's going to happen with him because he is just playing, like, dirt. Like, he doesn't even look like us.
He's going to be working at 7-Eleven.
Didn't he have, like, 8 rebounds and 8 points in his first game?
He does not. He went from becoming, like, one of the up-and-coming centers. He does not even look like a starting NBA center right now at all. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's really bad. And they are going to lose this series, in my opinion. I think Atlanta takes them out in 6.
It's hard too because this is sad. Like Frank, you were kind of saying it by not saying it. This is bad for basketball right now. I mean,
yeah,
I hate to be dogging on the Atlanta Hawks because they're doing something great, and normally like we're amped as fans to see this. I mean, you know how many people were pumped when Mercer won? In the NCAA tournament. It's just like it's one of those things. So, but.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you because I didn't give the Atlanta Hawks credit, and I want to give the Atlanta Hawks credit because they're playing incredible. And I do want to see because Paul Millsap is like one of my favorite players in the league. Like I love watching Paul Millsap play. He just goes out every night, gets the job done, goes home. And I always wanted the Nets to get him. They had a chance to get him a couple times, and they didn't. But yeah, salute to the Atlanta Hawks. You most definitely have to give the Atlanta Hawks credit. Oh, they're getting their ass kicked in the second round.
All right, yeah, swept. Michael.
Well, I mean, how to bring this whole thing full circle. I love Jeff Teague. Next to, I know I've been preaching the gospel according to Danny Granger being underrated for, ever.
How is it that when he left they got bad? I don't even understand how that happened.
Good point.
It's a coincidence.
Again,
Yeah.
the gospel according to Danny Granger. I tell
When
you.
the cat's
So
away,
now
the mice
allow
will
me to
play.
add a second. Allow me to add a second chapter to this, and I will go ahead on, and I will be on record saying that Jeff Teague, to me, is one of the most, if not the most underrated player in the NBA today. I had a chance to watch him play while he was at Wake Forest, him and Al-Farouq Amino, despite the fact that the dude really looked like Dumb Donald from the Cosby Kids. He could play. He could ball. And the
That
fact
was
that,
disrespectful.
he did the MJ shoulder shrug earlier in the game. That was okay. I'll give him that. But I like the fact that the whole time we've been sitting here talking about this Atlanta Hawks team being full of anonymity. I think that's what drives them. I think aside from Jeff Teague and Paul Millsap, there's guys on this roster where you look at this, you're like, who the hell are these guys? They're like the Cleveland Indians from Major League. What they end up doing? They ended up winning. You know what? I'm actually, glad. That
How's Michael going to act like that wasn't in a scripted movie?
Roll with it, Santos, man. You're killing my vibe here, King.
Wesley Snipes was running way fast.
And then they replaced him with the guy from House.
Mekhi Phifer? Is that his name?
That was bad.
Omar Epps.
Omar Epps.
No.
Yeah, that's who
Omar
it was.
Epps.
It's Omar Epps.
Mekhi Phifer. What is this?
I'm bad with this too. I kill those people all the time.
The whole point of it is good for the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, you're proving to people that you deserve to be here, despite the fact that the Eastern Conference was so horrible. And again, we've said that way too many times. You're proving to the NBA that we can stand up to these guys. I mean, are the Pacers imploding? Yeah. Whose fault is it? Don't want to say, because that's a whole nother show. We could do a whole nother show on why Indianapolis or why the Pacers are, I don't know. I think they put something in the water in Indiana up there.
It'll end up being Larry Bird's fault because he's the most notable person there.
Right. Well, you got Frank Vogel and his team imploding. You've got Jim Irsay in rehab. I mean, what's going on in Indianapolis right now? I mean, this is. I do not.
Yo, Frank Vogel, you are not doing the Frank name proud at all right now.
Hey, if I can just say something real quick, not to cut you off. Not to cut you guys off or anything. This is taking a huge step forward, but remember, this is the same Atlanta Hawks team kind of that was in the playoffs for like 5 or 6 years straight. I know it's like a different team, different era.
I don't mean to interrupt you either, Brandon, but quietly the Atlanta Hawks have like the second longest playoff streak.
But they always lose. Though.
Yeah.
Always are just like there for.
I just thought I'd make that point. Take a step forward.
I remember they knocked out Orlando that one year. Yeah. I think Orlando was like the 3.
Off of Michael's point, really quick, shout out to the Atlanta Hawks for proving you should be here, despite the fact that you really don't deserve to be here.
Yeah, and forget the Suns. They didn't. The Suns didn't earn it in the West. Look at Brandon. He's so mad. He's right now. He's real mad.
They earned it in the West.
No, they earned it, but it is kind of nice to see, and it should be nice for you as a Suns fan to see Atlanta in there because that's the team everybody disputed should have been out instead of or in lieu for the Suns. It's nice to see Atlanta actually doing something. The one thing for me was Jeff Teague. I do want to talk about Jeff Teague again because I did a lot of disrespecting Atlanta early on at the top of this question. Jeff Teague, I think, works against the Pacers, because they've imploded and they're not playing great basketball by any means. But for 2 is like, you ever watch Jeff Teague play? Like, he does not care. He's going to give you a couple, like, shimmies at the top of the key, and he's going to the basket. Like, he's fast. I think he's quite strong for a point guard. Like, he takes contact well. He absorbs it. And he's just in your face. And I think that's kind of almost what you need against the Pacers team who has that, reputation for defense and being tough in the interior. Just get in there and attack them. So I like his enthusiasm. Let's give you guys one last quick question. Since we do record this at night, when you guys are watching this show, probably it'll be the next day. It'll be Friday, and we're doing this Thursday night. The Clippers and the Golden State Warriors Game 3 is coming up here shortly in about 15 minutes my time here. So let's ask everybody, who do you guys think is going to win this game? Because, I mean, obviously a Game 3 is a pretty big deal when you're tied 1-1. 2 teams who can score a lot. Let's go to you first, Brandon. Who do you think is going to take this third, I guess I'll call it a pivotal game?
It is.
Because I'm hyping it up.
Yeah. Game 3, in my opinion, is where it all happens. This is kind of where the playoffs start in a way. I I don't know why. I kind of want the Warriors to win because again, I mentioned this last show. They were really the underdog last year. They went all the way to the second round, lost in 6 games. Let's go Warriors.
All right, Warriors tonight. Frank, your thoughts?
I also have the Warriors winning this game. I think the Clippers win the series in 6, actually. I think the Clippers go on to win 3 in a row after this. But I got the Warriors just because of the way they got blown out behind the home crowd. I think a gigantic Stephen Curry game is coming.
That was embarrassing.
Like 45 points, 11 assists.
Ooh, okay, that's a big game. Michael, who do you have winning?
As much as I want to rattle Frank's cage right now, I have to go with a clean sweep here. I actually picked the Warriors to win this in 7, so it's going to be interesting to see though that first 5 or 10 minutes how they're the Warriors are going to respond to the Clippers home crowd. I mean, granted it was the Lakers' place first, but I'm not bitter. But I mean it's going to be interesting.
This game though, Michael, this game is in at the Oracle. It's not in
It puts a little wrinkle in your
a little bit. Oh well, I'm not paying attention.
So on to me, and I'm going to put another wrinkle in your clean sweep because I'm popping the cork and taking a leak on this thing. I got the Clippers tonight. I think Golden State still gets another game in there, but I feel like I feel the same as Frank. I think it's going to be 6 games for the Clippers, and I think they'll make a pretty nice statement tonight with a win.
They ran out of gas.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I do like Golden State again. I just feel like that Andrew Bogut. Andrew Bynum.
It might as well be Andrew Bynum.
It might as well. YOLO. I mean, I feel like the Andrew Bogut blow was too much for them to withstand. DeAndre Jordan's played some good basketball, and I just don't like their odds. So that's all we have for tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. I'd like to thank this great panel of Michael, Frank, and Brandon. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. I like the enthusiasm. On behalf of myself, the panel, everybody at www.sports-kings.com, I'd like to say, jump around the page a little bit here, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, head on over to Sports Kings and read some of our articles, leave us some comments there. You can find us on Twitter at Real Sports Kings and also on Facebook. Just search Sports-Kings. Don't forget the dash. Until next time. We out.
Andy's being nice. Read sports-kings.com or kill yourself.
Dude.